Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we'll be big box store plant shopping at Lowe's out in Prosper, Texas. As always, please make sure you're hitting the like button for this video. It definitely helps with the channel engagement, as well as following me on Instagram at Grow Folds. That is the fastest way to get in touch with me directly. If you want to connect with me outside of the YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram. And if you like daily 1-hour plant shopping videos, subscribe to my channel at Grow Folds with the notification bell on. Definitely want to have that notification bell on. That way you are staying in tune with all of my live premieres. Anyways, today, plant foldies, and for those that are new to the channel, welcome. I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. My name is Richie. You can see that it is a beautiful afternoon out in North Texas. This one is the Lowe's off of Prosper, Texas, off of Custer Road, right across from the Walmart that I typically film at. As you can see right here, we're going to take a look at some of the plants that are available here. So it looks like a lot of Lowe's have all of the fall seasonal plants. You can see we've got a bunch of Croton Petras. Like all of my videos in the last 2 weeks, a lot of the seasonal plants like the crotons, we've got a bunch of mums. Those are the plants that you will see for that fall season, fall arrangement for the patio. And what I do love about crotons and mums is it really does celebrate the fall season. I really do like the fall season myself. If you're going to ask me my 2 favorite seasons of the year, definitely spring, because spring signifies new growth, and I really like the spring blooms that we get, but also fall. All of the beautiful golden yellows, oranges, browns, caramels, all of that is really nice. And I also love dark foliage plants. Here you can see that they've restocked a bunch of these oxalis. These are the purple oxalis right here. Now I saw that there were some variegated purple oxalis that were just slightly different than this, but way more expensive. Now, as far as the purple oxalis plant right here, you can grow these indoors. I've seen Sydney Plant Guy actually have a really nice specimen. So if you don't watch that YouTuber, definitely check him out. He's an established YouTuber that has some purple oxalis. And I just want to take a little bit of time out in the outdoor section first before I head into the indoor tropical area. You can see right here, they have some mixed planters. And what I find interesting about this particular mixed planter is we have an Alocasia California right here, as well as these Asiatic jasmine. But this is a different Asiatic jasmine, because as you can see right here, we've got a different type of variegation. You can see here that this variegation actually has more of that green and then orange color on it, which I find very interesting. Now, if anybody knows the specific name for this particular one, let me know, as I want to actually buy this Asiatic jasmine and potentially be able to grow it indoors as a house plant. Now, I have a few Asiatic jasmine already, but they're growing outdoors. Definitely check that out. And then, as you can see right here, we do have the Alocasia Californias. That is a typical Alocasia that you will see at a big box store. And then over here, we have some marigolds. So I love marigolds. That is actually the very first blooming plant I've ever grown as a kid. I remember buying a McDonald's Happy Meal, and they had this like greenhouse toy where you had a pack of seeds of marigolds and this little greenhouse. I remember putting some of those seeds in there, and then it germinated, and then I ended up transplanting these African marigolds into the ground, and that is the start of my outdoor plant journey. So as far as my indoor tropical plants, my grandmother taught me about that, but then also the outdoor gardening. And I did want to say thank you to those who have really supported my grandmother's video. It is big box or plant shopping video. The Home Depot one where you can see her in the thumbnail. I really appreciate that, because I ended up showing my grandmother a lot of those comments. She will be 89 years old, but she is as sound as a whistle, very much healthy, happy, and has had a very amazing life journey. And I reckon that she will actually have many more years to come, where she will actually bring a lot of joy to those that actually watch this channel. We talked about her being in more videos. I definitely want to do that. So again, if you ever feel the need to just rewatch that video, leave some more comments for my grandmother, I would love and appreciate that. And she would as well. You know, she really didn't want to get on film to show her plants because she said her plants are not that rare. But, you know, when you talk about plants and plant care, it doesn't really matter, at least in my opinion, whether you have super rare plants, super expensive plants, as long as your plants are healthy and you are actually happy growing them. And that's really the epitome of what plant care should be. And I think that my grandmother is a great representation of somebody who truly loves plants. And those plants actually give her a healthy lifestyle. Somebody who has lived up to 89 years old. She will be 90 next year. I'm just really happy about that. And I slightly, and I only say slightly, apologize that I haven't been talking nearly as much about the particular plants in my plant shopping videos. I would just say that a lot of my videos now will actually feature me talking about my plant insights, talking about my personal life. You know, there were some people who have asked me why I haven't done a face reveal. It's not that I necessarily am shy around people. Believe that and trust me, if you ever meet me in person, I am very much a social butterfly. I really like to get to know people. But in terms of just that social media presence, I really want this channel to be more so about the plants I'm featuring versus me. Now, eventually I may do a face reveal. It really depends on the demand of the people. But for now, I am more content just kind of doing a faceless video. Now, if you do recognize me in public, because of my voice, please feel free to say hello. But anyways, going back into the plants, I did want to show you some more of these succulents right here. Now, one thing I will say about the succulents is they are really starting to attract me in the sense that there are a lot more beautiful succulents. I really like the structure, especially of these echeverias. This particular one right here, the Lowe, I think is so beautiful. And I ended up buying a Lowe succulent actually out at Home Depot. And you know, when it comes to big box stores, what's really fortunate for me living out in the North Dallas area is there are literally big box stores like Home Depot, Walmart, and Lowe's within a 5 to 10 minute radius for me. Maybe the furthest would be like a 30-minute drive, but even then, to me, that's not really that big of a deal. And as you can even see right here, this one right here is literally an 8-minute drive from where I'm based at. And I love the fact that they have a bunch of succulents and cactus available. I am starting to get more comfortable with succulents and cactus. I mean, you can see right here, beautiful string of pearls right here. And whenever I think of pearls, I also think about my home country, which is the Philippines. You already know, plant foldies, that I like to shout to the world, the universe rather, that I am a very much proud Filipino American. I think a lot of these tropical plants we see out in big box stores are either endemic to the Philippines or are plants that can really thrive in a Southeast Asian country like the Philippines. Now, as far as succulents and cactus, not 100% I'm sure about that, but what I can tell you is at least the plants that are, you know, endemic to the Philippines, like the Epipremnum pinnatum, for instance, even Epipremnum aureum or pothos plants, they do very well. And all of this seasonal color, the croton plants, they grew literally into full-blown trees when I was out in the Philippines vacationing back in August. And what I like is that I am actually educated more so in the fact that a lot of these plants that we do see in big box stores, they are sourced out from these Southeast Asian countries. And I really hope that you guys would actually consider visiting the Philippines someday. It is a beautiful country. I would say the most costly price would be just the plane ticket there and the long journey. But as far as everything else, everything is very much so cost effective. Now, going back to the plants, I did want to talk about beautiful coleus plants right here. So coleus plants are a versatile plant. Some people will say that they're really just an outdoor plant. You can literally grow coleus indoors. And this one right here is only for $1.98. Love this one. You see how it's got that neon green color. You already know, plant foldies, I love neon green colored plants. This one I think can actually take full sun. So as I was driving around the North Dallas area, there were many house subdivisions that actually featured some beautiful full-blown coleus plants that were about 4 to 5 feet in height, and they were actually growing in full sun, and that's super exciting. Earlier this year, and you will be able to tell that in a lot of my big box store plant shopping videos or local nursery videos, I was collecting every single coleus plant I ran into. I've even bought this one right here for $4.98. This particular coleus, for instance, is now about 4 feet tall in my backyard. I love the fact that coleus are very versatile. They have many different varieties. You can grow them indoors. In Europe, I've seen people train them to be braided trees, and they are so beautiful. What I also like about coleus plants is they are inexpensive, and if you really love foliage color, they are one of the plants that I would recommend. I say try it. You can propagate them by taking cuttings and sticking them on water, but honestly, you can even skip the water propagation and stick them directly in the soil. Within about a week, you have a new free plant because they will literally root for you. I think the success rate for coleus plants being stuck in the ground directly into soil is about a 90 to 90% chance success. And then you can see over there, we did see some polka dot plants, love pink plants. I also love zinnia. So when you talk about marigolds, I grew them from seed, but I've also grown zinnia, and I love the look of zinnias. It is interesting that there are a lot of people now getting into breeding zinnias where they're cross-pollinating certain ones. I did see some really nice looking zinnias, and that's the thing about cross-pollinating, hybridizing certain plants. Aside from flowering plants like even philodendrons and anthuriums, that is a whole fascination for me. That is something that maybe when I'm retired, maybe if I can do YouTube full time, I may end up just having myself my own little greenhouse where I can really get into plants. And that's one of the things that really bring me joy, is the fact that I wasn't even really planning on ever doing a YouTube plant channel. But after 10 months of doing this has really become my daily routine. I know that some of you plant folies have mentioned you were worried about me over exerting myself or really burning out. I figured out, pacing for me. I've always been somebody that's been very much a hard worker. And if I have goals and aspirations, I definitely go full force for them, whether it is, the YouTube channel or even in my day-to-day life. So I just feel like for those that really do invest time night after night to watch my live premiere chats, you already know I always take the time to say thank you so much for supporting our community, for supporting my work, for validating that I, for some reason, have been able to be part of your daily life and to be able to just give you plant content. And while yes, you've seen these plants yesterday, the day before, the other day, last week, last month, 6 months ago, it's still nice to be able to walk around, have somebody in your ear just talking about plants, because plants just bring people joy. And what's really interesting about this Lowe's is the evolution that this Lowe's has had throughout the season. Actually, springtime, it was super full. Whenever you go to a big box store, springtime is definitely going to be full. I would say in the summer months, particularly out in North Dallas, and I can only speak from my experience, some of the outdoor plants tend to be a little bit less available. I would just say that they tend to downsize it, but then when fall comes around, you see all of these beautiful chrysanthemums and mums. And that's the thing I love about the chrysanthemums and mums, is this is really the time you should buy them. So we're going to go walk into the indoor tropical section. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a spot check and see if they have new Costa Farms trending tropical plants or plants that may have a restock. Now, in the last video I did for the Lowe's Big Box Store Plant Shopping video, I noticed that Urban Jungle plants actually had a bunch of new planters. Those terracotta planters were amazing, and I really like the look of that. But you already know, if I'm going to go to Lowe's, I will feature the Urban Jungle ceramic planters. Now, these are in the 5-inch ceramic planters, $13.98. We can see right here, we've got a philodendron hederaceum, just a green form. Really love the look of that as well. And this is another plant that I feel like is underrated. Same thing with the philodendron hederaceum Brazil. I am in the hunt to go purchase another large hanging basket, probably an 8-inch of philodendron hederaceum Brazil. After going to this one coffee shop called Wayward Coffee out in Dallas, they had beautiful floating shelves with trailing plants like philodendron hederaceums. We've got Epipremnum aureum, golden pothos. Literally trailing plants are amazing. And I do want to do more like hanging basket type deal. So I purchased a house back in 2019 for a very good price. And, part of me wanted to just preserve not drilling so many holes into the home. But I really do believe that I'm probably going to just keep my home because I've gotten a good good price for it, meaning whenever I do my my house plant tour plant foldies, I will be doing more plant styling, which includes adding more hanging fixtures to where I can hang more plants to my my plant collection. So that'll be something in the works. But for now, plant foldies, you can see that we have tons of beautiful ceramic hanging baskets right over here. The only thing I would say about Urban Jungle is they have more of a funky type, like fun pattern to their planters. For me, I really just like very modern contemporary, very simplistic planters. Now some people, I know that I was talking to Plant Foldy Daniel at PlantCon 2024. He likes more of the fun, different textures, different colors, and I love that as well. At least for me personally, I like the more simplistic look for the plants. I think it just fits my aesthetic a little bit more. If you're gonna ask me what my home interior is gonna be like, it's gonna be more of a Japanese inspired look versus and with I guess influences of Scandinavian or Swedish furniture. So if you have that idea, that's kind of like the merge of two things. I have a lot of origami installations and displays that I create. I have a bunch of paper cranes that are kind of floating at the top of my ceiling. So I would really love for you guys to see that. Now going back to the plants, as you can see, plant foldies, we do have the ZZ plant. This particular ZZ plant is just a regular green form, but there is nothing regular about a ZZ plant in a sense that it will bring you a lot of joy. It brings you a lot of joy because it will be such an easy to care for plant, super low light tolerant, super drought tolerant, very forgiving, and very readily available. Like even the ZZ Zenzi, which is considered a more uncommon ZZ, has become common over the years. And I like the fact that the pricing as well, $13.95, has gone down. And with all of the big box store plant shopping videos I've done, plant foldies, it's just amazing the way plants have been priced. I would say, 4 years ago, especially during the pandemic, they were highly sought after. Therefore, it really drove the prices. I would say that plants are still highly sought after, but I think the difference is a lot of people are now collecting plants because it is part of their daily life. They get more out of it versus just collecting plants because of the monetary value or the trade-in value. And for me, I'm not trying to criticize anybody who is an avid collector for any of those super rare, uncommon plants, especially if you're looking to make a profit from it. But for me, if you're going to ask me why I'm into plants, I think it's the process of growing plants. It's the process of being able to see that plant you brought a month ago and seeing the progression of whether it has a new leaf that unfurls, whether you're able to propagate and take cuttings from it and create more life, and just seeing that greenery. Seeing greenery in general, it has been proven to really work with people in terms of helping them relax, finding mindfulness, being able to overcome anxieties or the stresses of a daily life. Because when you think about it, as humans, we were really meant to wander and walk around. And when you wander and walk around, there's just all this foliage that we were naturally inclined to, at least our ancestors. But these days we're really stuck in front of a screen, a computer. And so bringing a piece of nature into your home really helps with that. And that's the reason why I love to go to big box stores, because I can at least admire a lot of the plants here. Literally, I have been adding so many plants to my plant collection. I even did a late night plant shopping video last night because a friend of mine actually showed me some more plants that were recently released at a grocery store I typically go to, and it was some amazing plants. So definitely going to see that later in the video. But for now, I am showing you the philodendron hederaceums here. Now, these are all live trend planters. So we saw the green version, but my favorite obviously is the neon version of the philodendron hederaceum. That heart-shaped leaf is beautiful. It is a little bit slower of a plant to grow when you compare it to the pothos plant, but as far as a trailing plant, they make beautiful plants. Now, if you want larger leaves though, grow them up a totem pole or a moss pole and you will really see the full potential of their sizes. Now, as far as the air plants right over here, you can see that Live Trends has a lot of these plants. The only thing I would say about Live Trend planters like that is it is a little bit disappointing to see that a lot of plants may not necessarily be bought, and it always makes me sad to see that some of this stuff ends up going composted or in the trash. But for now, maybe these big box store plant shopping videos will inspire especially those that are in the North Dallas areas to go to these locations and buy up all of these plants. You know, when you think about all of the plants that do make it into a big box store, you think about plants that it took years, literally years, to get the sizes and also get the numbers to be able to source that out. You know, I was watching the Costa Farms YouTube channel and really getting into just like the process of how they release new trending tropicals, and I didn't even realize it takes a minimum of 2 to 3 years for them to actually be able to release a lot of these trending tropical plants. It's quite a fleet for me, and I love the fact that, you know, Costa Farms has been able to get us all of these easy to care for plants or exotic plants, like for instance Dracaena sandriana here. So this is also known as the lucky bamboo plant. It is a plant that, especially in a lot of Asian cultures, is believed to give you guys like good luck and good fortune, prosperity. It's often given for a lot of special occasions. I have grown these in the past, and really you can grow them hydroponically. And if you don't know the term hydroponics, that means you just grow a plant literally in water. You don't have any other type of soil substrates. And I really like the look of Dracaena sandriana. Now, as far as Costa Farms, again, this one is for $13.98. Really beautiful yellow color. I love that golden yellow color. It is one of the planters that I would buy. The only thing is, I wish they would have just kept it very simple without the textures. I recently went to IKEA, and if you're going to ask me where I get a lot of my planters, I will buy them from big box store IKEAs, as well as big box store Target. They have some modern contemporary planters, and there was one particular planter I bought, which I ended up putting my Monstera aurea. I recently got that from Fitzgerald's Tropicals when I went to the plant swap and also the plant pop-up at North Haven Gardens, and that plant you will see in my plant collection. I do love those modern planters. If you're going to ask me what colors I like in my planters, I love white, cream, pink, neutral brown, tans, blue, navy blue, grays. Those are really a lot of my planters, that colors of my planters, and a lot of them I will find at like Lowe's, sometimes Home Depot, and then even definitely IKEA and Target. So I do get a lot of my planters from different sources. And it's the same thing with a lot of my plants in general. I like to get plants from different sources, whether it is a big box store or a local plant nursery. So you can see right here, Plant Foldies, we're looking at a bunch of Costa Farms exotic angel trending tropical plants as well. This one right here is a Syngonium cream illusion. So Syngoniums, let's talk about Syngoniums. Syngoniums are easy to care for, fast growing. I would say try not to underwater them too long, meaning you want to stay on top of the watering. You don't want to let them just dry out completely for many days. Otherwise, they end up just really declining in their health. And then you also want to look at this Palea Dark Mystery plant right there. Beautiful plant. That one is for $7.98. And then we have some Dracaena. So I always talk about the underrated Dracaena. These are plants that I feel like people really don't pay attention to, really don't give the time of day for it. But look at how beautiful that is. And that is only for $7.98. I do feel like Dracaenas are very much so underrated plants. These are plants that I feel like we all need to add to your collection because they're very much so low light tolerant and easy to grow. Now this right here is a Marantha plant, and what's interesting is in this 6-inch planter right here by Costa Farms, $16.98. The Marantha plant is actually a better alternative if you're going to ask me between a Calathea and a Marantha. Maranthas are a little bit more forgiving, so I would recommend that. And then strawberry begonias, very easy to care for plant. This is a plant that you can multiply quickly. You can see that as it matures and grows, it shoots out little babies that you can cut off and then actually propagate straight into soil or water, and you can have some more to share with friends. And I talked about this in the last video, but one way to increase your plants is through plant propagation. One way to acquire plants is through getting in touch with others and seeing if you do trades or even share cuttings. But we can go ahead and take a look at these again. So these are Dracaena sandrianas. Like the look of Dracaena Sandriana. You can see that this one right here is a braided form. This is really interesting because they call these the lucky bamboo, but it's really not a legitimate bamboo. Beautiful plant. I'm glad that it's available at a big box store like Lowe's. And then I've been seeing a lot of syngoniums right here. So this is in a 6-inch planter for $16.98. This is another type of syngonium by Costa Farms, and one that if I can find one that is actually a really good specimen, I'm going to end up buying one. I'm looking for a Syngonium Maria, and the reason why I want the Syngonium Maria is because it has that dark chocolate foliage around it, and I finally got some Especias. So I ended up buying Especias, or what you call the flame violet. So it has that beautiful metallic shine about these leaves, but what makes this plant even more beautiful is the fact that it does produce blooms. We talk about blooming plants, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize are available, are the blooming plants as well. So I really like the look of that particular plant. And then you can see right here we've got some Alocasia. This is an Alocasia poly. Love the look of Alocasia poly. It's another plant that I feel like is very much so underrated, and it's another plant that I feel like we need to possibly try to grow. The only thing about that poly is it is hard to, it's a spider mite prone plant. And then over here we have another Syngonium. So I would say that this might be a Syngonia Maria, but the only thing about this Syngonia Maria is it's not as, the foliage is not really that dark. And so that's the reason why I feel like I would want to find a better specimen if I'm going to get a Syngonia Maria. Now for Syngonia Maria, if you do provide it with quite a bit of light, it will give you better, darker foliage, and that is really a theme in terms of light equals a more healthy plant. Light, more bright indirect light gives them the better chance of growing at a vigorous rate, and they're just going to be a more healthy plant. And then over here, plant foliage, you can see that we have a red Marantha by Urban Jungles, and then this is what I was talking about. Urban Jungle has some new releases of planters. You can see that they have that terracotta look. I actually like the more simplistic shape that this one has, and I do appreciate the fact that they finally got newer terracotta looking planters. They've got a little bit more simplistic, and let's see what other Urban Jungle planters we run into when we go plant shopping at Lowe's. I do intend to do some more big box or plant shopping videos. I knew I did a lot of PlantCon 2024 Dallas videos, and for those that haven't made it to those PlantCon 2024 videos, please definitely check that out. I really love that as well. And here you can see plant foliage. We've got some Philodendron Moonlight. We've also got an Alocasia right here. This is another Alocasia poly. I do think that this particular Alocasia is underrated because I feel like if you're able to grow it without getting spider mites, it is a beautiful Alocasia. And speaking of beautiful, look at how beautiful this Hoya carnosa right over here is. Beautiful one. I think this is a Hoya carnosa Crimson Princess, I believe, by Costa Farms. Trending Tropicals Exotic Angel. Hanging basket, really like this a lot for $16.98. And then we also have, what other plants do we have available here? We've got some more Urban Jungle plants. All of the ones that you see on the bottom are only for $13.98. And as I pan away over here, it doesn't look like this particular Lowe's has a full-on restock, but what I appreciate about this Lowe's again is the fact that it's able to maintain the merchandising. It's able to look full and impactful, and for me, it actually wants me, I'm actually more inspired to purchase a plant. Like I was wanting to buy a Xanthosoma. This one is for $19.84. Beautiful plant as well, and I happen to find it at a cheaper cost though at Callaway's Nursery, which is another local chain of plant nurseries out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I will say that this is a Costa Farms restock right here. This is Epipremnum alplicimum, or what you call the silver streak pothos. Notice how large the foliage, the leaves are for this particular Epipremnum alplicimum. Now, most of them are a little bit more narrow, but I've noticed that these leaves are a little bit more robust. So we'll see what that looks like long-term if I'm able to get one of these plants. I want to get more of these Epipremnum alplicimums. I think that they look fabulous, and I think that they would be easy to grow. So we'll see what that looks like for me long-term. And then other plants that we have available are let's see, we have another Xanthosoma right over here. Really like the look of that as well. And, as far as plants, whenever you have a lot of plants to pick and choose from, sometimes it's a little bit more challenging to maintain the plants. I know I find myself having to scramble And that's the reason why I feel like, as we go big box or plant shopping together, we just have to realize the amount of plants we're adding to our collection. Like you can see right here, this is a geo plant, beautiful dark foliage plant. I definitely bought one at another Lowe's. It is a plant that I have to water every other day. Otherwise, it will be finicky. I've already started seeing, after not watering it for like 3 days, it started to get a little bit crispy on one of the edges of the leaves. So even though it does have like a thick, waxy feel about it, it's definitely not drought tolerant, and it's one of the plants that you definitely have to keep watering. And then as far as my other Epipremnum alplicum I bought from PlantCon, I didn't even realize that it did not water it for more than like 2 weeks, and there were some leaves that were already dried out and dying. And I'm glad that Epipremnum in general are a little bit more forgiving. I definitely went ahead and watered it, so hopefully it'll perk up. That is one of the plights of actually owning many plants. Like for me, I have a very demanding job where I work about a minimum of 10 hours, sometimes a little bit less depending on the workload. Being a salaried manager, it just makes it a little bit more challenging for me sometimes to be able to tend for my plants. And that's the thing about all of these shopping videos. I do find it relaxing to be able to film them, but the upkeep of plants sometimes can be a little bit challenging, and that's why we have to pace ourselves when we're buying plants. But I mean, this one right here, I'm almost tempted to buy because I saw some of these begonia red kiss hanging baskets, and they're in the 6-inch planters. So I really think I should go ahead and buy it. But it is a plant that I definitely want to purchase at some point. Begonias in general for me are a little bit more challenging. I mentioned that the angel wing begonias are a little bit more forgiving versus a Rex begonia. I have one Rex begonia and it's doing okay. Actually, I need to make sure that I bottom water it today. So we're going to definitely do that after I finish doing the voiceover for this video. And you can see right there, Epipremnum Aureum Golden Pothos. And then we have a bunch of these Dieffenbachias in 6-inch planters. Now these are for $12.97. Really like the look of that as well. And that is another plant that I feel like it can be challenging, but if you're able to provide it the lighting conditions it needs, it should be able to thrive. Same thing with Rex begonia. Like I know that I mentioned this is a challenging plant. Maybe it's a little bit easier for somebody that might have higher humidity levels and is able to like pay attention to the water levels. As well as croton plants. Like I know crotons are everywhere. It is the fall season. This one right here though is for $7.98. This is the Croton Batik. Beautiful plant. I love the speckling on the leaves. It literally looks like a plant that is on fire. I think that we should all try to grow crotons. I do intend to purchase some large crotons at some point in the season. I'm not in a rush because there's still many crotons to pick from, but as you can see here, most of the big box stores will typically carry Costa Farms exotic angel starter plants, either in the 3.5-inch planters or in the 5-inch planters. For me, it's very easy to start a plant collection through Costa Farms because they do source out a lot of plants. And that's the thing about big box store plants. You already know a big box store plant will typically be a pothos plant, an Aglaonema, some type of ficus, some type of begonia, some type of hydra, helix, something of that nature. And that's okay. Big box store plants, that's the reason why they are at a big box store. They should be more accessible to people. Like this one right here, beautiful new urban jungle planter. This one is a ficus Audrey, and it's a beautiful one. It looks like it's already got some pretty cool shape. And then this one is for $22.98, another urban jungle plant. I got one that was really large. I felt like it was a bad decision in the sense that, it is a plant that is very challenging to grow long term, but it has been a good decision in a sense that I've been able to keep it alive. I've been able to maintain that. And that's one of the reasons why, if you are willing to put in the work and you're willing to invest the time, then it is a plant, any plant you should be able to grow long term in your care. It literally takes just a little bit more effort for certain plants. Now over here, Syngonium Cream Illusion, $5.98. I have been adding quite a bit of Syngoniums to my plant collection, and it's because they're easy to take care of. Some people say they're not, but for me, they have been actually fairly easy to take care of. And then I keep looking at this begonia red kiss. I mean, look at how gorgeous that is. It almost reminds me of like a Steve's Leaves, hybrid begonia. If you haven't heard of Steve's Leaves, I'm pretty sure you have. They are a local grower out in Louisville, Texas. They are the pride and joy of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Really known throughout the country because they ship really good begonias and just different types of plants. Now over here we have another hanging basket of a Syngonium Maria. That one doesn't have that dark foliage I'm really looking for. And then we have another Syngonium hanging basket right here for $16.98. But if you watch at the later part of this video, you will realize that if you do your plant shopping, as in you're finding different plants in different areas, you will find even more cost-effective plant pricing. Let's just say that I found a Syngonium hanging basket 8-inch for only $12.99. So as much as big box stores offer the more cost-effective pricing, you just have to really search and look. Let me just say that even grocery stores will give a big box store a run for their money. Dogtail cactus, I haven't seen this in a while. Super cute cactus. It is considered a tropical cactus. Really like the look of that as well. That one doesn't want full sun. It does need a lot of bright indirect light. And speaking of plant that doesn't really need a lot of light, Dracaena Dorado, $12.98. Please buy yourself a Dracaena. Please consider getting a couple of Dracaena in your collection. Plant foldies, they are easy to take care of. They will bring you joy, and it'll be an easy plant to just keep alive. And that's the thing. Step one is to bring the plant into your home, but step two is to be able to maintain and keep them alive. For me, I think that if I'm able to keep a plant alive for quite a bit of time and I'm able to see the growth, then I know that that plant really does belong in my plant collection. Although I say that until I start bringing back, you know, Hedera Helix or Calatheas, those plants that have really not loved me back. But I don't know, it's one of those situations where you just love plants in general and you want the plant to love you back. But it's one of those things where sometimes the plant is just really not going to love you back. So you have to find a way for you to kind of like just get through actually being able to grow these plants long term. But as you can see, plant foldies, lots of plants. I wouldn't say that this particular Lowe's has gotten a full-on restock. What I can tell you is that it's still pretty full and impactful. And that's the thing about just going big box or plant shopping. I will commend a lot of the big box stores out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They have been able to maintain that. Like, look at this right here, $17.98. We've got a Syngonium white butterfly. We've got some type of Rex begonia. And then I think we have a Dracaena marginata. I would say the combination is beautiful, but I'm just not really into mixing multiple plants in a planter. I really want to be able to focus particularly on just one plant in the planter. And you can see that Costa Farms has released even more Epipremnum aureum lemon meringue pothos. The only drawback about an Epipremnum meringue pothos is if you are not able to provide it with quite a bit of bright light, it's just really not going to give you the variegation you're looking for. It is known for that aurea yellowish variegation. It's a little bit slower growing than even the Global Green pothos, and even then I feel like Global Green is a slower growing pothos, but it is a plant that I did add to my collection because I do love pothos plants, and pothos plants are very easy to care for. And that's the thing, plant foldies, if you don't have a pothos plant, go ahead and go to a big box store, buy yourself a pothos, and you will see the joy that they will bring to you. But as far as croton plants, I am in no rush to purchase one right now because they're literally everywhere. Now, I haven't been able to buy bromeliads, but that would be something I would also get into as well. But anyways, plant foldies, I'm just going to keep panning around here and showing you the rest of the Lowe's, and then we'll go to the next location. One plant restock that has happened for Costa Farms is I believe they released a bunch of new Aglaonema red siam. So if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you are in the hunt for a healthy looking, full and lush Aglaonema red siam, definitely check this out. This one only has one plant, so this one may not be one of their new releases. So whenever you are shopping for Aglaonema, I would recommend really inspecting the plant and seeing if you can find multiple plants. It would be a no-go for me if I only found like one plant, but look at this. This is an example only for $15.98 of a super healthy and full Aglaonema. What I love about Aglaonema is they will shoot little babies out. So you can actually separate and propagate Aglaonema through plant separation. Some people will do cuttings. You can do cuttings as well, especially if your Aglaonema is actually very leggy, but for the most part, they can maintain fullness by just pushing out new babies. And I was super tempted to purchase an Aglaonema red Siam. The thing about it is, I already know that this particular plant is one plant that you can find often at a big box store or even a local plant nursery. And Costa Farms probably has the most cost-effective Aglaonema red Siam. This one is in a self-watering planter for $15.98. However, if Walmart, for instance, restocks the plant, if I'm able to find an Aglaonema red Siam, they typically would be like $14.97. And even though there is a dollar difference, it is still a dollar that you would save. And that's the reason why, if you haven't already and you live out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Plant Foldies, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel with the notification bell on. It's super important. And if you have been a long-time subscriber, double check if you are subscribed but you have the notification bell on. I have been posting other content on the YouTube channel, as well as like my community posts, my shorts videos, and I don't want you guys to miss it. But as far as plant pricing, if you follow my journey, I do upload pretty much daily, especially discussing like the plant pricing. So that would be beneficial for anybody that's just looking to save some money on plants. And, you know, again, Plant Foldies, while we don't have a lot of like brand new plants, I can say that at least Urban Jungle has made an effort to really up their game in terms of the planters. Like, I really like the look of this planter. It's very minimalistic, and even the Ficus lyrata over there is beautiful. Now, I am actually in the hunt for a really high variegated philodendron Birkin. Like, I've seen a couple that have some high variegation, and I'm almost tempted to invest a little bit more money in buying a philodendron Birkin. So we'll see what that looks like. All I know is this. It is an easy to care for philodendron. Now, this plant right here is another Urban Jungle plant in a new planter. That is a Calathea lancifolia, or what you call the rattlesnake Calathea. That is for $22.98. And then we have a Monstera deliciosa right here. And as I pan away, we just have quite a bit of Urban Jungle plants. This one right here is actually, I believe somebody changed their mind, but this one is 50% off. This one is a Ficus lyrata fiddle fig leaf tree right here. Let's see how much it was. So $22.98, but now it is half off. That's actually not a bad looking philodendron. I mean, not Ficus lyrata. What I would do is definitely use a hose or something to clean the leaves, spray it with neem oil, and see if I can actually grow it. And I don't know, Plant Foldies, should I have bought this Aglaonema right here? This one probably had the best full pot of Aglaonema red Siam, and look at how beautiful the leaves are. If you flood an Aglaonema red Siam with quite a bit of light, it's going to give you a lot more red and pink tones on the edges of the leaves, and I just love that. But Plant Foldies, so far, most Lowe's, at least in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, have quite a bit of plants left. You'll see a lot of the seasonal plants, but, you know, as far as this, for instance, I want to know in the comments, Plant Foldies, what you think about these combination planters that you can only find at Lowe's. We've got some type of Syngonium here, and I really like the smaller foliage. Syngonium right there next to a palm. That is for $17.98. And can we talk about how gorgeous the colors of this Dieffenbachia is? Now, if I just had more space, I would definitely grow more Dieffenbachia, just because I feel like the Dieffenbachia in general could potentially survive in my area. You know, if you're able to give them with more bright light and some added humidity, you'll be able to repel the spider mites that it potentially can get, and also it'll be more happy in terms of just the lighting, because light in general is what makes a plant happy. And so if you're able to provide it with the lighting conditions that they require, you have a higher chance of keeping the plant from going to plant heaven. Staghorn ferns, that's something I am actually interested in getting, just for the stylistic purpose of either making them in kokedama type displays, or even mounting them on a wooden plank. So we'll see what that looks like. But as you can see right here, Plant Foldies, I'm just going to keep panning away and showing you what plants they have here, and then we'll be going to the next location. All right, plant foldies, we are now going grocery store plant shopping at the HEB out in Frisco, Texas. So HEB is a local chain of grocery stores only found in Texas. So this is one that I would definitely want to see if we have any plants. I'll show you a couple of products I use. And if you made it this far, please hit the like button. If you made it this far to the video, would really appreciate that support. But it is another beautiful day out here. This will be a shorter segment and then we'll go to the third location. So as you can see, plant foldies, I do quite a bit of traveling for these plant shopping videos. So hopefully I'm able to show you guys a little bit of different plant pricing. But this particular HEB is one of the best HEBs to purchase plants. HEB in general has some really cheap and inexpensive plants. They have the Max and Miles plant line that is really just for HEB plants, but a lot of the plants are also locally grown in Texas. HEB in general is actually very much so a lot of Texas and local products, which I love. I always talk about supporting local, but as you can see right here, we are gonna go and see what plants they have in the outdoor section. It is fall, so you'll have a plethora of different types of pumpkins for decoration. I can't believe that it is literally October 1st, the first day of October, and we'll see what October brings. But as you can see right here, plant foldies, they've got a lot of planters. They've got some chimeneas here. I actually bought my chimenea, which I have in my backyard for a really good price at HEB. And then you can see right here, they do have some plants available. We'll take a look at that. But what I wanted to also focus on are plant products that you can purchase, maybe possibly save some money on, and just utilize for some of the plants that, as far as plant care, like the fertilizers, the insecticidal sprays that you can have. So I'm gonna just kind of pan over here and show you what products they have. I do like that all HEBs have really good organization. So everything is organized, neat, and easy to shop for. And that's the thing that I love about HEB is they just have really clean stores. Now this is what I use for my my pond or to make my nutrient water. So I use a lot of the Fox Farm products here. So this one right here is one that I use. This is the Tiger Bloom one right here. And I would say out of all of the Fox Farm fertilizers where you can buy them if you live in Texas, go to HEB because they are more cost effective than purchasing them anywhere else. And then you can just see that they have many different types of liquid fertilizers. What I do like about Fox Farm fertilizer is they are mild, and if you use like maybe a quarter of the dose that it asks, so typically it's like 1 tablespoon per gallon of water, but what I do is I do a half a tablespoon, maybe even a quarter tablespoon for the plants that I've put in ponds. So like a lot of my alocasias, a lot of the plants that I've already converted into semi-hydroponics, I use a dose. And shout out to my friend Tanya of Green Acres out in Irving, Texas. She was the one that mentioned that that's particularly the plant nutrient she uses. So again, plant foldies, if you are going to try your journey at growing plants semi-hydroponic, either using leca or pond, those are the products I use. Like I use a combination of the three. And then as far as my plant aesthetic, again, I love these terracotta planters. I like the ones that are just simple like this. This one's for $6.98. I like this versus the one with the lip. If you can find plants like that, I just really like that very simple just shape of that particular terracotta planter. And then you can see right here, HEB, just like most grocery stores, will clearance out or put their plants on sale. So you can see that this one right here is an ornamental pepper. Speaking of peppers, a lot of my shishio peppers and just my peppers in general in my vegetable garden have done very well for me this season. I just haven't really taken any of the peppers to actually eat. I just kind of grew them as like almost like an ornamental plant. And you can see that HEB also has a bunch of hanging baskets of spider plants, and look at all the little baby spider plants you can just nip off and propagate. And my grandmother, again, she has a bunch of spider plants. She really does consider them basic plants because she's able to propagate and multiply them. My grandmother is actually going to source me out a lot of her plant propagations because next year I'm hoping to sell some of those plants of hers that she propagates in my merch store. That way it could actually provide a little bit more livelihood for her so she can get more plants, because I know that she was wanting to purchase more plants, but when you're retired, you're kind of on like a fixed income, and I want to be able to source a lot of plants for my grandmother as well. But anyways, going back to this HEB, you can see that they've got a lot of succulents and cactus. All of these succulents and cactus are typically sourced from local growers out in Texas, and you can see right here, this is one of my favorite Sansevieria. That is a Sansevieria starfish, and with Sansevieria in general, I think the best way to propagate them is not through plant cuttings. I think you should just separate them when they start pushing out new pups. I've had one Sansevieria starfish for a good 3 to 4 years, and it really thrives in neglect. Like, I feel like if I water it too much, it will also rot. So just maybe watering it once a month works for me. Now, as far as my succulents and cactus that I am putting in my collection, I definitely will grow them in terracotta planters. And the reason why you want to grow them in terracotta planters, or I feel like you need to grow them in terracotta planters, is because terracotta planters don't hold nearly as much moisture long-term versus like plastic. And so if you are an overwaterer, I feel like growing your plants in terracotta would be best. For me, it's not necessarily the best medium to put the plants in as far as a container, because I am an underwaterer. So I probably need to keep my plants in more of like the plastic container planters because they hold more moisture. But you know, I love the look of terracotta planters, and I feel like if you grow like cactus or succulents in terracotta planters, they just have a very nice classic look. Now, as far as other hanging baskets here, these are only for $14.97. And again, plant foldies, you have to give HEB credit for these Tradescantias. That is a 10-inch planter right there, hanging basket of Tradescantia burgundy. Now, as far as Tradescantia, I love them. I love to look at them, but as far as growing them, I just feel like they get a little too leggy for me, except the Tradescantia Nanook. Now, they do have a bunch of 5-inch planters. So these are the crotons, for instance, and I believe these are for $5 a piece. It's not a bad price for a 5-inch planter. However, a lot of these plants already I have in my collection. I would pick up this Syngonium. I'm not sure what the plant ID is for this, but this one is got some beautiful pink foliage on it. Now, if you see that this new leaf right there for some Syngoniums may not unfurl, it's because it doesn't have nearly as much humidity level. So if you ever want leaves to unfurl their leaves, you want to try to increase the humidity. So, you know, that'll help them unfurl their plants and then the leaves. And then you can also look right here. This is a Hydra Helix. This one has some beautiful lace texture on this particular Hedera Helix or English Ivy. Again, this is for $5. I do have some English Ivy growing outside in my backyard, and they've been doing very well. They actually thrive with neglect. And so my thing about it is, I just feel like if you're able to grow English Ivy outdoors for as long as possible, grow them outdoors, they will definitely thrive for you. Same thing with Alocasia. So if you don't move your Alocasia into semi-hydroponics, grow them outside. They typically will do better outside. Same thing with any plant that you are trying to grow in a larger size. Like if you wanted to take this Syngonium, for instance, put it in a shaded area outside. For some reason, just growing plants outside, they just do better. They get larger. They're a little bit less pest prone, and I just feel like if you want that growth to happen very fast, grow your plants outside and then take them back inside if you have to overwinter them. But you can see right here, they do have many plants to pick from. They've got some spider plants here. We've got some Syngoniums, and then I'm gonna walk over here and see what they have, the larger foliage plants. You can see right over here though, they have a bunch of Chimenea. They've got some specialty soils right over here. They've got some mulch. They've got some barbecue grills. They've got everything here, and they've got some amazing groceries as well. So if you've ever shopped at HEB, you'll understand what I mean. But as you can see here, now these are larger ZZ plants. These were sourced out by Costa Farms. So basically Costa Farms is everywhere, whether it's a grocery store, a big box store, a local plant nursery. Local plant nurseries have been starting to carry a lot of these Costa Farms plants. So, you know, it's safe to say that Costa Farms is probably the largest nursery provider for a lot of these plants, for these 3 different locations that you can buy, you know, grocery store, big box store, and a local nursery. But with ZZ plants, I love that they are very easy to take care of. Again, plant foldies, some people may not be into them, but for me, if you're able to grow a plant and it's easy care plant, I think that that would bring you joy versus finding a plant that maybe might have a little bit more color to it. Maybe it's a little bit more rare. Maybe it's a little bit more sought after, but you know, being able to grow a lush and full ZZ plant, for instance, I feel like that is already rewarding. It's kind of like if you buy a green form, like just a Monstera deliciosa, the green form. If you're able to get it to a nice mature size where you have beautiful fenestrations on the Monstera, sometimes it's better than buying a very finicky, variegated Monstera for like $500 or more. So it really just depends on what your definition of plant joy is. If you're looking for, you know, collecting plants that are rare, that is amazing. I'm one of those types that also like to collect rare plants, but I also like seeing plants just grow and grow well. I've had a moment where I actually was discouraged because a lot of my plants were just dying, and it's simply because I didn't have time to water them. But now I'm in a better routine. I did catch myself underwatering a couple of plants. So on my day off, which is typically Tuesday, I'm actually spending more time for myself versus being out all day filming content. And that's the reason why I've done some compilation videos. I know some of them are a little bit long. I may just put 2 episodes in one versus 3, but you know, we'll see what that looks like. But we're gonna look at these mums. You can see these are large mums for only $16, and look at how gorgeous this yellow mum is. That would really work well for any fall colors. And they do still have some herbs. They've got some porcelain plants right over here, and then they have some more mums. And these mums I love, and I'm super proud that these are actually Texas grown. So again, they are sourced out locally from Texas, and they have many different colors and varieties. I did buy 2 mums, but they look more like the larger Japanese mums that you would find at those Japanese mum festivals. But as far as these garden mums, beautiful plants. Again, mums are perennial, so you can grow them in the ground, and they will come back year after year, really depending on your grow zone, but for the most part, they will come back year after year. Once the mums lose their blooms, you can chop them back and, you know, let it dry out a little bit and then water it, and then they should come back with another flush of blooms. I love that, you know, there are seasonal plants. You know, I haven't been doing plant YouTubes throughout the year until just recently. So I'm going to see what plants are actually more readily available through the seasons. I can say that mums are definitely readily available, as well as crotons. And then the last location we're going to go to is a Kroger grocery store. So we're going to go grocery store plant shopping. And the reason why I want to go is because Tropic Treasures collection just released some more rare plants. So they recently released the Houseplants camouflage, but now they have another type of Aglaonema here. So before they had the Aglaonema Red King, which I missed out of, but these are called Aglaonema Red Monsoon, I believe. Now these are for $29.99. So for me though, it is a little bit pricey. Like I would love to buy this plant, I really would, but for me, it's already a small plant. I think it's in a 3.5-4-inch planter. Now, I haven't ever seen the full mature version of an Aglaonema Black Monsoon, but I would say that they mentioned that this would be a darker red as it matures. Right now, it looks like an Aglaonema Valentine, but you can see that these are the care tips right over here. And Tropic Treasures collection, I have been able to really, get some really nice plants. One plant I would say that was a really good investment was buying the 2 Philodendron Florida Ghosts a while back from Kroger, because the Philodendron Florida Ghosts that I have, whenever they push out new leaves, literally they have white leaves. So some Florida Ghosts will actually not have the best genetics to do that, but mine does. But going back to the plant right here, you can see that this is an actual Aglaonema that, you know, most people, yes, I believe that $29.99 is a little bit expensive. I'm really hoping that they will reduce the prices, because I don't necessarily think the average person doing their grocery shopping will actually buy $29.99 for a smaller plant like this. That's just my personal opinion. Now, if you want to buy an Aglaonema Black Monsoon, that is awesome. You can gift me one if you want, but for now, I'm going to hold off on that. I am excited that Tropic Treasures has a new release. They have a new release every 3 weeks to a month. So we'll see what plants they have now. One thing, a little birdie did tell me that the Houston Krogers may be carrying wild interior Thai constellations. And that's the reason why I went late night plant shopping, because I wanted to see if Kroger got some more Monstera Thai constellation. So if I'm able to find that, definitely stay tuned for the channel. But you can see right here, this is a Homelamena Shelby. No, I'm sorry, not Homelamena and Shelby. Homelamena camouflage. These are for $29.99, and I still feel like that is a little bit pricey. Now, the thing about Kroger is they will reduce the plant pricing. I could be that person that could ask the person, one of the managers, to see if they might reduce the plant if it's not in the best health. I wouldn't always recommend that because, sometimes the plant pricing is fixed. But what I will say about grocery stores is, especially Kroger, they will reduce plants that may not be in the best health. I've been able to get some plants that were half off at Kroger because of the health condition of the plant. But whenever you're buying plants that are not the best in health, just know a couple of factors that you need to consider. Number one, are the plants worth rehabbing? It's going to take a little bit of a process. Number two, assume they have plant pests, whether it's thrifts, mealy bugs, or fungus gnats. So you really have to quarantine and treat them. But I did also want to show you these beautiful mums here. Now, these are for $12.99. And the thing about it is these are already in full bloom, or actually $13.99 full bloom. But look at how beautiful the display is at Kroger. So the houseplants are typically right next to the floral department. But look at how beautiful the display is here. I would say a lot of the Krogers and the Kroger marketplaces out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, specifically in the McKinney, Frisco, Allen area, have some gorgeous plants. And this particular one right off Coyton Campbell Road, if you want to go to this particular Kroger to go do your plant shopping, definitely check it out. They have a huge selection of plants. And what's exciting is whenever I do big box store plant shopping or grocery store plant shopping late at night, there are some plants that I'm just super surprised to find. Like, look at how gorgeous these mums are. Like, part of me wants to buy mums. I already bought 2 mums that I really didn't need because I know that long term I wouldn't be able to grow them indoors. I am growing the mum on top of my my kitchen island, and it's doing okay. Like, actually, the blooms are beautiful. I'll have to take a photo and put it on my Instagram. And again, Plant Foldies, if you're not following me on Instagram, definitely follow me. That's one way to interact with me outside of YouTube. And then you can see right here, this is the Urban Jungle hanging baskets. And I've never seen Urban Jungle hanging baskets at like Lowe's, Home Depot, or Walmart. I will always find them at a grocery store like Kroger. And these are the most inexpensive hanging baskets of plants for only $12.99. So I'm actually tempted to purchase this golden pothos hanging basket because I want more pothos in my collection. I've decided that I want pothos plants because they are very easy to take care of, and I want to propagate many of them. I have a project where I want to take multiple cuttings from multiple pothos varieties and do like a mixed planter. I think that would be pretty cool. And for $12.99, let me know in the comments, Plant Foldies, if you would buy this hanging basket. I think it's a really good deal. I will definitely want to see more comments from y'all if you're able to just give me your plant insights. I do want to thank those that really take the time to give me like a whole paragraph of their plant collection, their plant insights, or plant care tips. Really appreciate that. Bella from Houston, thank you for giving me some plant insights for cactus and succulents. It was super helpful. And then over here, Plant Foldies, you can see this is a staghorn fern hanging basket for $12.99. So when you compare a Costa Farms hanging basket for $19.84 or $20.24, these are more cost effective because they're the same size. And today I wasn't even really planning on buying any plants. I was literally looking for Monstera Thai constellations to film. I'm going to buy the Syngonium right here. I don't know what this particular Syngonium plant ID is, but what I do know is it's in an 8-inch planter, and look at how full and lush this is. I already talked about buying maybe a 6-inch planter of Syngoniums from Costa Farms, but Urban Jungle came in with the clutch and got me a better price for $12.99. Granted, I love Costa Farms, but at the end of the day, what I always say, to all of our viewers and subscribers, buy the plant that meet the price is right. And today, last night when I filmed this, the price was right for this Syngonium, only $12.99. And I found some really good hanging baskets at Urban Jungle, hanging baskets at this particular Kroger. So this is really my go-to Kroger. Now, if I see a philodendron Micans hanging basket, I've seen that before at Kroger, I'm definitely going to buy it because I want more of that. I'm also thinking of buying another philodendron heteroraceum neon hanging basket if I'm able to find that. I'm just really wanting to buy more trailing plants because they are a little bit more low light tolerant. Now we're going to talk about some of these plants for $9.99. This one here is a Peperomia obtusifolia marble. Now the thing about this particular plant, which is $9.99, if you give it a little bit more light, it's really going to give you the variegation, more cream variegation. Light is really what impacts the variegation of that plant. And then you can see right over here, beautiful Peperomia russo. So here's the thing about Kroger that you will be surprised to find. Kroger will carry multiple Peperomias, multiple Hoyas of all places, more so than even big box stores and other, plant finds. So we're going to see what other plants I find tonight. And you can see right here, this is a Peperomia frost, beautiful silver foliage. That one is for $9.99. Really like the look of that plant as well. And I know Plant Foldies, this one has been a little bit longer of a video, but I like to mesh a bunch of my plant shopping videos together just so you have a different vibe. Sometimes I'll do a full episode at a particular big box store, but today I wanted to mix a couple of grocery plant shopping videos. I haven't done one of those in a while, and I love Kroger. I would recommend buying your plants at Kroger, and this is the reason why I go there. White Princess philodendron for only $9.99. Now this is granted not the best variegation, but for a 4.5-inch philodendron White Princess, that is a really good price, because if you go to Walmart and you buy Grower's Bench, it's the same size plant, but you're gonna pay $20.24 or somewhere around that range. $9.99 sounds like the price is right for me. If I already didn't have any philodendron White Princess, I would have definitely bought that today. You can see this one doesn't have nearly as much variegation, but for $9.99, that's a plant that you could potentially see if it'll push more variegation. That is the risk with some of these variegated plants is variegation is not always guaranteed unless it is a Monstera Thai constellation. That is one of the plants that definitely holds its variegation. It's a tissue cultured plant, but the genetics of that plant, I've never really seen a Monstera Thai constellation ever revert, even if you don't give it the best lighting conditions. Now, we also have a bunch of Sansevierias right over here, or snake plants, and if you want to start a snake plant collection, you could purchase them from Kroger. This one is for $13.99. This is a Sansevieria black coral. I do like the fact that these plants, the ones that I'm picking up, are actually sourced out from Mason Farms. So Mason Farms is actually a plant nursery out in New Mexico. So I thought that was really interesting that they had, a tropical greenhouse out in New Mexico, but they do source out a lot of plants to many different big box stores and mostly grocery stores. Here is a green Hoya caryi, and Hoya caryi, I don't actually have the green form. I have the variegated form and the reverse variegated form. I would love to collect all the different types of Hoya caryi, and you can see this one is actually living its best life. $13.99, that's not a bad price at all. I would actually buy this Hoya caryi because some Hoya caryis, even when you go to local nursery, it's a little bit more expensive, and you don't really see Hoya caryi at a big box. Or I'm surprised that Costa Farms, or at least to my knowledge, hasn't released a hanging basket of Hoya caryi. I feel like that's such a beautiful plant because look at the shape of the leaves. They literally look like hearts. Now, Hoyas, I wasn't really into them until I realized that Hoyas are very forgiving plants. If you don't water them for even a month, at least I was able to get away with not watering it for a month, and the plant still survived. Actually, Hoyas don't like to be overwatered, so that's a good thing for me. Now, over here, Plant Foldies, we've got an Epipremnum aureum Enjoy Pothos. This one is for $13.99, and I like Enjoy Pothos more so than Pearls and Jade. I just really like the stark contrast. What I would love to be able to do though is to grow one on a totem pole or moss pole so I can get the leaves to size up and really get that nice variegation. I always say if you want a cheaper alternative to a Monstera albo, Grow yourself a pothos enjoy on a totem pole. If you get lucky, you can even get it to fenestrate. Then it kind of looks like a Monstera albo. Over here is an Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue pothos. Love that as well. This one's for $13.99. The thing about Cebu Blue pothos is it does need a little bit more light than the regular Epipremnum pinnatums. They get leggy if you don't give it enough light. And so that's the only drawback about the Cebu Blue pothos. It is a beautiful plant. More light will also give you more of that like light green tone, like that bluish tone, versus less light where it will get leggy. And then also with the Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue, you want to make sure you're watering it more often. It's not as drought tolerant as some of the other pothos plants. Peperomia watermelon, beautiful plant. I'm glad I have the variegated form that I got at Peta's Planters. And you already know, if I'm doing a big box or plant shopping video and I can plug Peta's Planters, I would do that. I was happy to get that, but that watermelon peperomia is beautiful too. I really like the look of it. And then we just have a jade pothos right here. That jade pothos, I will say, is one of the easiest plants to grow as well, because it's fast growing and it just grows very quickly. A lot of pothos plants are pretty vigorous as well, so we'll see what that looks like. If you ever grow pothos plants, let me know in the comments. Let me know your experience. But even this like golden pothos right here, $9.99, that's not a bad price. I feel like you can still get a better price for a 6-inch planter, which I will show in just a bit. But as you can see here, plant foldies, string of pearls for $13.99. You can probably find string of pearls for a little bit less at a big box store. But needless to say, if you're going to Kroger, most people will not go to a grocery store to buy plants. I've said this every time I go to a grocery store. I go to grocery stores not to do groceries. I do groceries after I go there searching for plants. And the reason why I go searching for plants at grocery stores is because it is an untapped market. I don't really think people think about grocery store plants as like having plants that are either uncommon or rare or just even very cost effective. Like most of the plants are starting at $9.99 and they're in 4.5-inch starter planters. This one was what I was talking about. Here is another Hydra Helix. And for those that are new to the channel, I call or say mispronounce Hedera Helix as Hydra Helix because for the longest time I was mispronouncing it. But for some reason, plant folies, you guys like hearing me say that. At least the majority of y'all. Some people have called it very cringe. I don't mind being very cringe because I always say to myself, I would rather be authentic and be myself on my YouTube channel versus trying to please everybody. And I have toned it down a little bit, but I gotta keep Hydra Helix. Let me know in the comments how many Hydra Helix I did say today, because I know you guys are keeping track of it. But that is a beautiful plant. It's just a plant that's very hard to grow indoors. And then we're just gonna keep looking at more plants right over here. I might find some more cool plant finds. And oh my gosh, this has some splashy stuff going on. It's supposed to be a Hoya Carey green for $13.99, but you can see that there are splashes right here. So this might be the Hoya Carey splash. Look at that new growth. Yeah, I'm gonna also buy this one. And the only reason why I'm gonna go ahead and splurge to buy this one is it's very challenging to find a Hoya Carey splash that isn't really expensive. This one is for $13.99. That's a really good deal. It's like when I found a variegated Hoya Carey for $13.99. That, you know, Hoyas in general can be a little bit pricey. Some are really expensive, but I'm just glad that I found that as well. So, you know, go me. I'm actually able to find another plant find, but go my plant budget. I've just blown it again. And I'm telling you, I'm probably gonna have to eat like ramen noodles daily, beans and rice, maybe some sandwiches, although I have been making tuna sandwiches and bringing them for lunch, and it has been super cost effective. Just a side note, but yeah, I am loving the fact that I found me a Hoya Carey splash. This one is just a green version of the Hoya Carey, and I do want to say shout out to Mason Farms. Like, they have some pretty cool plants. I do think that Mason Farms is a little bit underrated just because I think a lot of their plants end up just making it to grocery stores. I feel like they sourced out more so to big box stores like Walmart, Lowe's, or Home Depot. I think they would really get even more of a following, kind of like Costa Farms. But I'm just going to keep picking up plants and showing you what they have. I mean, you can see right here, we've got a Hoya compacta, or a Hindu rope Hoya, really cool plant. That's another plant I may add to my collection. I'm probably going to get the variegated form if I am going to add it. And we'll just keep looking at these plants right here. Got some Calathea ornata right here. This one's getting a little bit crispy, and that is what a Calathea will start to look like if you're not able to give it the right care conditions. And then right over here is another plant. This one's for $19.99. This is a Philodendron cordatum, or what I would call really the Philodendron hederaceum. The green form. So just let me know in the comments if there really is a difference between the two. I do like the look of that philodendron, and that is one plant I do want to add to my collection. I just need to find a better price. I feel like $19.99 is a little bit pricey. And then this is the China doll plant. And as much as I would love to grow this plant is a very thirsty plant. And that is a plant I really can't have in my plant collection because I don't really water my plants nearly as much as I should. That has really been the drawback of me being able to grow as many plants, is the fact that the watering takes a minute. That's the thing though, plant foldies, as much as we love plants, and I've said this multiple times in the video, it is all about the amount of time you can place into your plant collection. And that's the reason why I'm envious with my grandmother, because she does have solid routines where she can tend to the plants. I don't necessarily get that luxury, but maybe when I retire, I'll be able to take care of plants a little bit more so. Here's an easy to care for plant. This is another Spathiphyllum or peace lily. This one's only for $12.99 in a 6-inch planter. Very good price for that. And then you can just see plant foldies that Kroger actually has quite a bit of plants. So I'm just going to walk around here, and I do love filming at night just because I can avoid getting people in my videos. You already know that whenever I do plant shopping videos, I want to be very respectful for people's private time whenever they're just, shopping. Even though we are in a public area and you can film, I still feel like, if somebody doesn't have permission to give you permission to film them, I just feel like that is more just common courtesy, because I wouldn't want to end up on somebody's, video unless I gave them permission to do so. But anyways, plant foldies, you can see right here, we do have a bunch of Phalaenopsis orchids. That is one plant that will always be available year round at any store that sells plants, particular grocery stores. Grocery stores have really good quality Philodendron, Phalaenopsis, the Phalaenopsis orchids. I've just been making a lot of mistakes with all of my plant IDs. Now, this is some type of peperomia. I don't know the plant ID, but it looks super cool. This is by Wild Interiors, and this one is for $10.99. So it looks like Wild Interiors just released a bunch of peperomia and Pilea peperomoides, or what you call the UFO plant. So I'm just going to pan around here and show you that I am a fan of Wild Interiors. Typically, you will see Wild Interiors also sourcing out to Walmart. They also have the more curated versions of the plant. So I believe that Wild Interiors released a bunch of Montserrat constellations. So, that's something that I'm searching for. We'll see if I'm able to find it. But right now, this has got a really cool looking texture of the leaves for this peperomia. If you know the plant ID, plant foldies, let me know in the comments, because that one is a pretty one. I would love to be able to collect a bunch of peperomias, but again, I'm already adding 2 more plants tonight, and I ended up buying plants the other day, so it is getting a little crazy. I don't know if I'm gonna have to just stop making videos to keep myself from buying plants, but I really can't help it. And then over here, we've got some beautiful pineapple bromeliads, and I didn't even know that pineapple's the one, the fruit that we eat is actually part of the bromeliad family. Really cute little miniature pineapple. I don't think that these pineapples are edible, but they still look super cute. So we're just gonna pan around and I'll show you these plants as well. got a peperomia frost. This one is a little bit dehydrated, so we need to make sure that we are actually watering this, or somebody needs to go ahead and buy it before it makes it into plant heaven. It looks like they just released these wild interior plants, but that's the thing about peperomias, especially the ones that don't have the thick leaves. You have to really be mindful of that. Otherwise, they will end up just going to plant heaven. Some of them are not nearly as drought tolerant as others. So you just have to really assess that. But for the most part, peperomias are easy to take care of, and they come in many different varieties. So we're going to just take a look at some of the other plants that they have from Wild Interiors. I was surprised that Wild Interiors actually released some new plants, but that is always exciting to see. And then you can see right here, they've got a bunch of little Wild Interiors, smaller succulents, which I'm starting to get into, is more little succulents. I'm going to start small, and I'm just going to pan around here and show you what plants that they have. These succulents are for, I believe, $5.99. It's really cute too. I like the little Wild Interiors wooden little placard. I think that's super cute. But let me know in the comments what succulents you like, and I'm just going to show you these real quick.
You don't want my heart, you don't want my love, you just want me crying over you. You don't want my heart, you don't want my love, you just want me crying over you. And I'm thinking about you.
So I was almost tempted to buy that particular Wild Interiors peperomia, the one with the really cool texture on the leaves. But I'm going to hold off on it since I've already committed to buying 2 plants, and I almost bought this one as well. I am in the search for a really nice peperomia, Pilea peperomoides or UFO plant. I think that would be a cool plant to add. I know that those can get some really good sizes as well, but as you can see right here, Plant Foldies, it is a very peaceful and relaxing grocery store plant shopping session for me. I ran over to Kroger's just to see if they actually had the Monster Thai constellations. This particular one doesn't, and so maybe it's just the Houston area that's getting that, but you already know Plant Foldies. I will definitely check that out. I haven't been feeling as well, honestly, just with the season change. I've been having a really bad cough, and I wasn't able to really get some good sleep the other night. I don't have a fever, so I don't think it's anything like sick. I think it's literally my allergies, so I'm just trying to recover and not overexert myself. But like I said again, Plant Foldies, I just love making this content. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video today. It is a happy Tuesday. I hope everybody's had a good Tuesday, and I've been able to do quite a bit of plant chores. I plan to do that today, maybe do one video to film, but overall I want to just kind of relax and take a little time for myself. I have to work this weekend, and it's going to be a very hectic weekend, so I want to make sure that I can at least tend to my plants that I may not be able to get to. I did want to pan out a couple more plants like this one right here, beautiful watermelon peperomia. This one's for $19.99, and I do want to add this back to my collection. I just love how large the leaves can get, and that's a plant that is pretty easy to take care of. So that's another plant that I feel like needs to add to my collection, but I've already done enough plant shopping today. I know many of you guys can actually relate to me, and this is the reason why the Grow Folds Plant Folding community is the best plant community out there. You guys are truly awesome, and I did want to say thank you for taking the time to watch my videos often, and also for those that say hello on the live premiere chats, for those that leave comments on my posts on Instagram or send me direct messages. You guys are awesome. Like I said, again, all I ask for support is, if you haven't already, please make sure you're hitting the like button. If you want to share my channel on your social media platforms like Facebook, since I don't have it, that would be awesome too. We are almost at 11,000 Plant Foldies subscribers. So hopefully we can reach that number soon. But as I do my final walkthrough, I'm just going to pan around here and just show you these plants. I'm going to walk over here and just kind of end the video looking at these Aglaonemas. Like, I wish they were priced a little bit less. I would totally invest in it, but I feel like $29.99 is a little bit pricey for that. Anyways, again, please hit the like button for this video. I hope you have enjoyed my plant shopping video at multiple locations. You already know this is the channel, the premier channel to find plant shopping videos. And as always, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Growfolds. This is Richie, and I will see you with a brand new video tomorrow. Bye.